Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into my official college football game-by-game Week 7 predictions, predicting the score of every game involving a top 25 team. I think there are 16 games this week involving a top 25 team, a few ranked versus ranked matchups, so let's get right into it, guys. Starting off Friday night, we've got California at Oregon. If you don't know, California is really terrible. This is a 10:30 start Friday night to get the ball rolling. I have Oregon 34-13. I love the under in this game. Oregon, not great on offense, really good on defense. California, really having a tough year. If you guys don't know, they're 1-4 at this point in the Pac-12. Give me Oregon and their defense in that one. Another 10:30 game. So there are two 10:30 games between some ranked teams. To start off, we've got San Diego State, who is undefeated, taking on San Jose State. And I do have San Diego State winning this game 30-22. Pretty bad offenses battling it out there. San Diego State undefeated. I believe ranked 25th, I want to say. I believe they're still 25th. We'll have to see if they keep that under. San Jose State, by the way, not terrible. You know, 2 or 3 years ago, San Jose State was one of the top 10 or 12 worst teams in FBS, but they really have improved. Good for them. Moving on, this is the Saturday slate, so there are a lot of noon games involving ranked teams. We have UCF at Cincinnati. And I have Cincinnati getting another fairly easy win, 42-17. Cincinnati crushed Temple last week on Friday night, I believe, 52-3. The deal with Cincinnati and the playoffs, they have to keep winning convincingly, and they need Notre Dame to keep winning, they need SMU to keep winning, and preferably Houston to keep winning, and then potentially face Houston in the American Championship. But it's going to be very hard for Cincinnati to get into the playoffs, even if they keep winning convincingly, even if that Notre Dame win continues to look good. They simply do not have the ranked teams on their resume, and I really think this could be the main cause of why we see an expansion when it comes to expanding the playoff to an 8 or a 12 team. You got a team like Cincinnati who's a group of 5 team, but it's just like if there's only 4 spots available for you, how do you make that work? How do you find a spot? UCF, Dylan Gabriel gets injured. This would have been a big game. UCF was a fringe top 25 team with Dylan Gabriel, with their starting quarterback out for the year now. It's going to be a blowout. They're going to lose a lot of games. Cincinnati's going to have a tough time finding those, wins to really boost their resume, per se. The Indiana game earlier this year as well was a win. You think maybe Indiana has a good season. They end up, they're already 2-3, looking at 2-4, this week. So Cincinnati, for the playoff, it's going to be tough. I really do think if they go undefeated and win all of these games convincingly and then very likely get left out of the playoff because it's only 4 spots and you've got 2 or 3 Big Ten teams that are going to have crazy resumes. And we know with Alabama and Georgia, maybe Georgia beats Alabama, so then only one SEC team could get in, so then maybe that could open a spot for Cincinnati. I'm trying to, the problem is if 2 SEC teams get in, it's going to be so hard. You're going to need Oklahoma to lose. That's the other thing, that Oklahoma just for some reason keeps winning. But guys, that's kind of Cincinnati's playoff life right now. 42-17 over UCF. I have it this for the noon game. We've got another noon matchup. It is Michigan State at Indiana. And you know what? I keep doubting Michigan State, and I don't know why I do it. I have Michigan State winning this game 27-20. It's like I almost want to pick Indiana, but Michigan State and all of their transfers and what Mel Tucker has done with that program, it really is impressive, and they're going to lose some games. They have a tough schedule. They face Penn State. They face Ohio State. They face Michigan. It's a tough road. They're going to lose a few games, but if you're a Michigan State fan, you have to love the direction this program is headed in. The past 2 years, 3 years, you got Mark D'Antonio's corpse on the sideline. You bring in Mel Tucker in a pandemic year. You struggle. And, again, they're probably going to lose some games to some really good teams this year. Don't get down. Your program is trending in the right direction. I can't doubt them against an Indiana team that really hasn't shown me much this year. I believe Michigan State is like 5-point favorites in this game, or the line might have moved down to 4.5. I'm not exactly sure, but I have them winning 27-20. Another noon game, it's Oklahoma State at Texas. I am so pissed at Texas for what happened last week. I have Texas winning this game 41-27. Oklahoma State, I know they're overrated. I know I know they're undefeated. I know they're ranked. I'm not buying them. Some of their wins, very close wins against bad teams, including a close win against Tulsa. They did beat Boise State. Beating Boise State on the road was a good win. You look at what Boise State did to BYU. That was a good win. They only won by 1 point, but it was a good win. Texas Too good of an offense, too much firepower. They should have beaten Oklahoma. They were in basically control of that entire game until the fourth quarter. Wow, I cannot believe Texas lost that game. I mean, you're up 28-7. It was just they were winning the whole game by 2 scores. The entire game they were up by 2 scores, and it's just like there were so many possessions. Like Texas was up 14-0 with 13 minutes left in the first quarter. And that's when you know it's just like, I knew the game was far from over. I mean, my God, you're 2 minutes into the game. Sure, it's great to be up 14-0, but that game's far from over. Bijan Robinson. Did you see that that one run he had where he cut back, juked across the field? Oh my, I love Bijan Robinson. Watching an elite, there's nothing better than watching an elite college level running back who has just absurd talent. Same thing with Saquon Barkley, and we're seeing it now with Trey Henderson, the true freshman at Ohio State. These players are unbelievable. It's so fun to watch these running backs in college. Oh my God. Another noon game. It's Auburn at Arkansas. I have Arkansas in a close one, 27-23. Give some respect to KJ Jefferson and how he played last weekend, at Ole Miss. Ole Miss does have a bad defense, but overall, I think this is going to be a little bit of a lower scoring game. Auburn's been in a lot of low scoring games this year. I like the under in this one, but give me Arkansas to eke out a win against an Auburn team who really isn't that bad. They've had some tough losses. They've had a very hard schedule, including a non-conference game against Penn State. You look at guys, Google Auburn's non-conference schedule this year. It's literally 3 of the worst teams you could ever think of, like the worst FBS team, and then I think 2 FCS teams, and then Penn State on the road in a whiteout. Like, it's so extreme. It's crazy. Google that. But I have Arkansas in a close one. Another noon game, we have Florida taking on LSU, or Louisiana State, if you want to be technical about it. This is Ed Orgeron's last stand. I've got LSU. This is a weird noon start time. It's rare to see a game start at noon, at LSU. This is a rarity. So this should be fun. Florida, I just don't know about their passing game, man. You've got Anthony Richardson, who's a really good runner. Emory Jones, what did they shut out Vanderbilt last week? Whatever. They won 42-0. Walked over them. I understand that. Vanderbilt is historically bad. But it's just like, this is Ed Orgeron's last stand. It's the energy in the building. You're at home. It's crazy to me that Florida's 10-point favorites. Now, if Florida was like 5-point favorites, I'd understand. But 10 is just a lot. I got LSU, a little bit of an upset. They have the talent to do it. They've struggled. It was a bad performance at Kentucky where people were like, wow, they're going to surprise a lot of people and beat Kentucky. They really laid an egg. It was on the road. Now they come back home. Ed Orgeron's last stand. I think they play hard for him. Could be a close game. I like them winning it maybe. Could be fun. Here's another 12 o'clock start. It is Texas A&M at Missouri. And I honestly might think about predicting this to be an upset. I'm going back and forth this. Right now I have it Texas A&M winning by 3. I was saying this in my betting video. This is the typical game where you see a bunch of college kids get really high after a big win. Texas A&M wasn't even ranked. So it's not even like this team has a huge goal. They're starting a backup quarterback. They're not this top contender. They already have 2 losses in the SEC. They're going to want to celebrate their win. And you're talking about a Mizzou team. Missouri's not great, but they're not terrible. They're formidable. It's not like you're going to Vanderbilt, right, to where you could sleepwalk over a team. I'm really close to thinking Missouri's just going to win this game outright. I'm really close. And it's really not like, oh, I think Alabama's terrible. It's just one of those things where they caught lightning in the bottle in a night game at home in front of a massive attendance at Kyle Field. It was a college game. That's how it works sometimes. The next week you sleepwalk into a game at noon in Missouri. There's nobody there. And weird things happen. That's college football. It's just the prototypical game to where they sleepwalk and it's a close game. And it's going to surprise a lot of people. This team that just beat Alabama is in a tight game with Missouri. So expect that game to be very tight. Moving to the 3:30 window, it is Kentucky at Georgia. Folks, this game has 34-10 written all over it. It really does. Now, these teams, it's like Georgia, I don't know. To me, Kentucky and Arkansas are very similar in terms of they were winning games. Like when Arkansas was undefeated, they were winning games, but it was just they're not beating very good teams. And Kentucky has their big win against Florida at home, I guess. That win against LSU, what is really LSU's going to have like 6 losses this year. I don't know, but it's just like you're facing a team like Georgia. I don't know. Are you going to be able to score 17 points? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Georgia, on the other hand, so everyone's like, wants to proclaim Georgia this huge juggernaut, and they have an absurdly good defense. But it's just their offense is not like overly impressive. So I'm not going to sit here like everyone at the beginning of the year was like, oh my God, it's Alabama. Even like 2 or 3 weeks ago, it's Alabama, Georgia, and everyone else. I never bought into that. Never. I don't buy in that it's Georgia and everyone else right now. Georgia has a susceptible offense. You can stop Georgia. Like, it's not like they have this powerhouse offense. But yeah, no, they definitely have. I mean, the talent on their defense. Oh my God, it's absurd. I've got them winning 34-10 in that game. Purdue at Iowa, 3:30 game here in Iowa City. So somebody said this on Twitter. They said the number 2 team in the nation is favored by 12 points at home versus Purdue. And I thought to myself, and I was like, wow. Nothing against Iowa. They beat Penn State, although we saw what happened with Sean Clifford getting injured, but it's just like crazy to think about that. I have this one 27-17, an Iowa win. They're favored again by like 12 points in this one at home. Lower scoring game. That's what you expect with Iowa. Probably a few turnovers by Purdue. And Iowa, who's right now the number 2 team in the country, gets the win 27-17. This will be a fun one. BYU at Baylor. I'm based like 99.9% sure BYU is going to win this game. I had a really good read on this game. The minute I saw it, I was like, BYU's winning the game. I know they lost last week to Boise State. I've got it here. It's 35-24. It is in Waco, but Baylor really doesn't have that great of a home field advantage. Give me BYU to get back on track and get a win. No, they're not a top 10 team, but they're still a really good team. I've got BYU in that one. TCU at Oklahoma. Little zesty matchup. How about TCU coming off a big win at Texas Tech? Zach Evans, the former 5-star running back. TCU playing some good football. And then Oklahoma, who may get a reprieve. Oklahoma's in a very weird spot to where they bench their starting quarterback, but they're still undefeated. And it's not like the perfect situation because, going forward with Caleb Williams, he's a true freshman. It's tough for true freshmen, to be unbelievably well. There's no experience. First year in college, it's going to be hard. I've got this one 42-31, but they do get a reprieve. It's like now we have a new quarterback. Like Oklahoma's been playing bad, but we not only do we have a new quarterback, we get a reprieve. We still haven't lost the game. So even if we lose a game, it's like we could still lose a game and then get in. Here's an interesting debate. 1-loss conference champion Oklahoma versus no-loss Cincinnati. Who gets in? My goodness, ladies and my goodness. Moving on, Ole Miss at Tennessee. Everyone expect it should be a high-scoring game. I agree, but the over/under is like 80 in this one. It's crazy. I've got it at 40-37. Ole Miss. How good is Tennessee? Tennessee has had a great year. Good for them. Really good offense. It would be a huge win. See, the thing is with Tennessee, if I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm licking my chops right now. This Ole Miss team is beatable at home. This is a 7:30 game. They've got a great stadium. They've got a great fan base there. This is a huge game for the Tennessee football program. Huge. Would be an unbelievable win. I've got Ole Miss winning it. What is Ole Miss? 3-point favorites. I've got them winning 40-37, higher scoring game. I don't think the over is going to hit. The over is like 79, but the other crazy thing I want to point out, if this is the actual score, the over loses. 40. That's how crazy the over/under is in this game. 40-37 Ole Miss. Fun game here. Fun game. Another 7:30 primetime start. We've got NC State taking on Boston College, BC. That game's in Boston College. I have BC winning 30-24. NC State really doesn't impress me. They got that big win at home against Clemson. But other than that, they really haven't done much. Boston College, they almost beat Clemson, I believe, in Clemson. They've really, played decent recently. They're at home, lower scoring game. Give me Boston College outright. I know NC State is 2-point favorites. I had BC +2 all day in that game. And then the night game, we've got a underrated Arizona State team traveling to Utah. This is your typical great late night Pac-12 matchup. Locked and loaded ESPN. Be there, 10 o'clock Eastern time. I have Utah making an absolute statement. 37-24 over ASU and Jane Daniels. How about Utah? You guys see what happened last week against USC? a total annihilation. Utah is coming on. They were one of my surprise teams this preseason. It took them a little bit. It took them a little while. They had to get acclimated. They're good now. They're winning this game. I saw ASU was 1-point favorites. Oh my goodness. Give me Utah straight up. Pick them. Give me Utah in this game at home. It's going to be rocking. 7 o'clock local time start there. 10 o'clock Eastern time. I love it, guys. That is all the ranked matchups, all my predictions for week number 7 of college ball. We have Ohio State on a bye week. We have Michigan on a bye week. And we have Penn State. After their tough loss, they're also on a bye week. I don't know if there's any other teams on a bye week, but I just saw a tweet where those 3 teams were all on a bye week this week. That's why, there's no predictions for those games. But guys, make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.